Hello and welcome. You're listening to Nick Needs to Know, the podcast. Join me as I have open, honest, relatable conversations around careers, mindsets, life in general, and what that looks like for each one of our different guests. On today's episode, I am joined by James Hamilton from Glasgow, where we speak openly about his career, both past and present. Hope you enjoy, and thank you for listening. James, thanks for joining me, mate.
No problem. How are we doing?
Oh, good, mate. How's the weather up in sunny Scotland?
It is absolutely glorious sunshine, but raining at the same time, as per usual. Glasgow weather.
Sunshine and rain at the same time.
Yes.
Typical Scotland, is it?
Indeed it is.
So, James, you know why you're on here today. You've actually asked me if you could be on one of these podcasts, which is great. We're going to talk about your career, past and present, and have a little discussion around that. So if you want to start by telling me, what is your earliest memory of working? Where did you first start to learn the art of earning money?
So, my first role was in a local Asda supermarket, and it was actually my mother who got me in there. I remember it 2 days after I got the national insurance number. It was time to go out and make some money. So my mum had worked in that store, and where's she been there now? She's still there to this day. She has got, between her and my stepdad, they have over 50 years service to this wee local Asda in Glasgow.
50 years?
50 years between the two of them. Mum and stepdad.
Wow.
Yep. So, as you can imagine, everybody knows everybody in this. It is quite a small Asda store. It's like...
Little local one, is it?
It's like Groundhog Day. You know who's coming in, what time, and if they don't show, then it's as if you know something's wrong or something's happened.
They could probably have the baskets ready for them before they even come in.
Exactly. And it's the same kind of thing with an interview as well. Remember it? Walked in, all suited and booted. First big interview, flung out the door. No, the suit's falling off you. Suits.
Yeah. One of your dad's old.
Exactly. Aye, suits over the suit jacket's hanging over the fingers, kind of thing. Walked in, and first question: heard you're good at football. What position do you play? Right, that's great. When can you start? That was in 2000. So it wasn't that long ago, but it's still.
I know.
You think it's still 23 years ago? That's how that first.
Yeah, it's. I think we think it's not long ago.
It is. Yeah.
I think we just don't want to believe it's that long ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was my first interview. So all in all, I learned nothing from that interview going forward.
Yeah.
And see, if it being a first job, I don't think I appreciated it as much. Obviously, we're older now. You've got an older, wiser head, but I don't think you realise it at the time.
No, it's just money. I think
exactly. It's like,
just a wage.
I'm working this weekend, or I'm working after school today. Blah blah blah. You don't realise. You're basically there just for pocket money.
Yeah.
Weekend money, isn't it? That's all I was there to do. During this time, but I was playing football as well. So it was football and work. That's all I'd done. I was still at school at the time as well. So, but this is when school kind of took I wasn't as focused as I should have been. I was an intelligent pupil and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, still liked to carry on, but it was sport and football.
Yeah.
Football, obviously.
So you felt school was something that you had to do, whereas football,
that was
you wanted to
everything.
do.
Everything. It got to stages older, got into like in Scotland, Glasgow, got 5th and 6th year, which was our senior years. You were picking and choosing what classes you were going to. in the house, and then you dive down and do PE. Only because then I was playing with the Glasgow schools team for the whole of the region, and it was so I was still getting selected for their teams, and then go back up the road, get changed, and then go and do a shift and work instead of going to school. So that was the kind of my first steps in my career. How that got the ball rolling. When I got to like 5th year, that's when I had the decision whether I was going to go and play football full time, or I had to get a full time job. So,
because I would imagine there'd come a point where your job and sport would have clashed.
Well, that's exactly, and I think this is where I've always had a strong working mentality. For example, one of I was playing one of the Glasgow schools. I don't know if you're aware of it, but it's an annual event where Glasgow schools play Bradford schools. There's been some big names played in it. It's usually held in Hampden Stadium. This time it was held at Lesser Hampden on a Saturday. I usually work a Saturday in the local ASDA. So I went and played the game. Then what I didn't realise, there was a big reception back at the City Chambers afterwards. I went to the City Chambers to attend it, but I was clock watching because I was already late for work. Back then we didn't really have mobile phones. They were this new thing. They were just coming out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I couldn't contact work. Ended up I had left that to go straight to my work. I ended up missing out on medals and they were awarded and stuff like that. To this day, I had to make sure that I got to my work, do my shift.
So even though you had the love for sport, you still
knew I had to.
Understood that your work had to.
Yep, 100%. I'm still this to this day. There's nothing worse that, in my feeling, see when you have to phone in sick or we've got young kids, something happens with the kids. It's probably caused arguments with my wife as well. Is you have to phone in and say you're not coming in. It just, I don't know why, it's always been the same. It never sits right with me. Never sits right. I'd probably choose to go, unselfishly, towards my family, I would probably choose to go to work than have to take a day off.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Do you think that probably comes from your parents?
I think it does.
I know you touched on them having 50 years between them
I was
at one place. Yeah.
So I was brought up as a single parent family. It was always been my mum right up to probably my early teens. That's when my stepfather started coming into the picture. So through all that time, even through all the sports, I never really had a fathering figure. It was always, my mum was always working. I was up my grandmother's at the weekend. And it was my grandfather that took me to like the football and took me to my games when I was younger and stuff like that. But he never drove. He made sure I wasn't where I had to be, but it was always through lists through other parents and stuff like that. So I never really had a fathering figure, a voice, if you know, say that. So my mum worked so hard for me and my sister growing up. Don't get it, we never really missed out on anything. But what I mean with that is we weren't walking about the best of Nikes or the best of this and stuff like that. But yeah, we still went to our wee holidays, local holidays and stuff like that. Blackpool being a big one for the family. But my mum worked tooth and nail. It's not until you become a parent yourself you wonder, how did they do it? How did you? I don't know if you've been in that position yourself, Nick. But the graft that your parents put in back then to put food on the table. But we're probably going through the same sort of thing just now, the way the economy and that is. But how did he do it? It's opened my eyes in recent years. Now, I've got 2 young kids. And everything it's money. Absolute money.
Yeah. I think when you get older and you're in that position yourself, that's when you get a newfound respect for him, isn't it? And
100%.
You don't really see it as a kid. You just... And why should you? Why should you? And I think credit to parents as well for not letting the children, and credit to your mum for not letting you see that there was a struggle. At the time, you should enjoy your childhood. And
that's it. And we did. Look at when I say we brought a parent, we enjoyed our childhood, a great childhood. but it's again, it's just, you don't realise what my mother put in to give us what we had at that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the first kind of, that was my first job, proper job, I say. But then it came to the time when I'd been offered a full-time contract with a team. And again, this goes back to not having like the father figure. The day we went up to sign the contract, I remember, and don't get me wrong, it wasn't for mega money. It wasn't for mega money, and it would have been less than I was earning in the supermarket. But it was another parent's father who said we should not sign the contracts because they'll need to come back with better. And obviously, being young, it was kind of all going over your head. You're not mature enough to understand this, the ins and outs of it all. And we left that night without signing anything. And it was the last time I ever heard for the club.
Well, this well-known club, or
no, it was a low league club in Scotland. Clyde, it was Clyde FC, and there was a big fallout with the chairman, the boardroom, and stuff like that. To cut a long story short, that board and the chairman ended up going to another club. And again, having the youth, not mature head on, I waited on the call, and it never came. And that's when I never fell out with football, but that's when I knew I had to make the choice that I need to go and make some money here. Yeah. So that's when I took the decision that I ended up I would say go back to school. I was still registered as going to school, but doing more shifts in the ASDA than I was basically going to school.
So you now decided to turn up at school?
Yeah. Well, when I say turn up at school, it probably lasted for a few months, and through a careers advisor, I was looking for, you know what it's like back then, you need to get a trade behind you. Yeah. That I was saying, you need to get a trade behind you. It never ever interested me. Never. What I was into was sport and computers, IT. And I don't know if that was again through people in the family who worked in IT and stuff like that. I had an interest that it registered with me, and I found this job through the school library and went and applied for it. Went for an interview with the same suit on, and that was my first kind of real interview. I thought I spoke well, all that kind of stuff. And
did not ask you what position you played?
No, they didn't this time. Not this time. But
you walked in, striker, yeah, see you Monday.
Yes. And a typical Glasgow interview, but what they did ask me is, are you green or blue?
For Rangers or Celtic.
Yep. Yeah. And this is coming from quite a big company as well.
That's quite a divide though in Glasgow, isn't it? It's quite the...
There is, and it's probably, I don't think it's an extent to that now, but I keep going back to say it wasn't that long ago. It's 23 years ago, and obviously it's completely changed now. I think if anybody asked you that in an interview, they'd been a bit of bother. But that was that, and the feedback I got for that interview was, I ended up getting this job. The feedback I got from that was, you were yourself. You weren't trying to kid on, you were this person or this person. You were yourself. And I've took that forward throughout my whole career here. In fact, not even just my career, just in general. I think you have to be yourself. There's no point kidding on you're something you're not, if you know what I mean.
Not because you want them to employ you.
Exactly.
Not someone you're pretending to be, because holding that up for a long time is exhausting.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Don't get me wrong, there may be employees that might not want the personality you've got, but at the same time, I don't think I should have to change. If I'm not that your fit, then that's fair enough. Yeah. But it'll be somebody else's, and that's the way I've always seen it. So that job was an apprenticeship for software and hardware engineer with Mytel. And the contract they had at the time, this is because of it ironic, the contract they had at the time was working in all the new built Glasgow primary and secondary schools.
Mm-hmm.
So we were going in there installing the whole systems, hardware and software. And I absolutely loved it. So that was a 2-year apprenticeship course. And I completed that. And by this time now, as I finished that, I was 18, 19. And this is when I learned my first big lessons. So I've now passed my driving list. I was given a big company car, company laptop. It was a great job. And this is where I kind of take stuff from now when I'm, you can say, coaching or mentoring younger people, is I had too good a job too young. Far too good a job too young. Again,
When you say that, do you mean money-wise?
Not money. That was what we're going to go into here is one of the problems. This is the first time that I came across a bad manager. Yeah. So also I'd finished the apprenticeship. So you're still on your apprenticeship wage, maybe went up with 20, 30 quid, nothing much. But then you've just been given a company car, which is one of the ones that you have to put the fuel in and then try and claim it back.
Yeah.
So I have got an apprentice wage, young kid, got this brand new company car. You're driving about all day. You're driving about all night. You're driving about all weekend, innit? It got to the stage, my wage was feeding my car. Yeah. Or my wage wasn't even enough to feed my car. It got to the stage, you're tapping your mum, you're tapping friends, just so you can put fuel in a car to go and do your work. This is starting to have a burden on me. So it was. So I'd actually approached, not my line manager. My line managers were absolutely spot on. Honestly, cannot fault. Even the engineers that I worked with at that time, absolutely brilliant. I'd sent an email to HR regarding it, because I say 23 years ago, there's no way I'm going to get a credit card or anything that I could put the fuel on and claim it back and pay it off. That just wasn't going to happen. I'd asked for basically a pay increase. Nothing major, just a pay increase. Gave the reasons, blah, blah, blah. HR went to one of the bigger managers, and I'll never forget it. That manager drove up from Wales, up to Glasgow, to come see me, and pulled me up in front of everybody in the room, asking why I'd went to HR and who did I think I was.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what.
He's gone out his way then. It's a fair old drive.
Yep. I'm not saying it was me personally, but he came up and to see whatever the company up here at that time, and he pulled me. I'll never forget it. I wanted somebody just to dig a hole, and I'll bring it up now. It was the first time, and I think it's lasted with me till this day. It was the first time that the imposter syndrome kicked in.
Yeah.
I never forget. What have I done? Why am I here? Why have I got such a good job? Why have I got this car?
I think that's it.
I haven't started going through yet.
Situation's enough.
Yep.
Enough to knock the wind out of anybody's sails in any situation, really. That isn't it?
So I say I was only 18, 19. 18, 19 then.
Very impressionable at that age, aren't we?
It left a massive, as I say, probably to this day. And that's when I started to go for rails. Not through drugs or anything like that. I'm talking about with work. So it got to the stage, instead of tapping mum a tenner, mate's 20 quid, that's it, fueling. I go, well, I'll just stay in the house. I started to hide for work. And at the time I was embarrassed about it. So again, we talk about mental health. People don't really talked about stuff like this back then. It was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I hid. Actually, I hid in the house.
And how did you confront those feelings? And did you
I never.
just
I had.
hope that they'd go away?
Yep.
And
I
or did
even
you wait until somebody else found out?
exactly that. I hid
Yeah.
from my mum as well. My mum would go to work.
Yeah.
Kid on, I was going to work. This is the 1819. I'd enough the fuel in the car to go around the block, park it back up.
Mm.
It was a massive burden, and it got the only reason it ended was because my local line manager, God bless his socks, passed away now, great guy, came out to my house and spoke to my mum. And I walked in the door and I wasn't expecting it, and they were both there. My mum, my mum standing staring at me with my line manager. It was horrible.
What did you think?
I thought, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, this is it. This is it. And that was it then. The line manager was absolutely brand new. I said, listen, I thought it's not going to work. I don't want to come back. And we went our separate ways. But it was in good terms with him, don't get me wrong. He actually, I'll never forget it, he apologised, and if I needed any help going forward, he was absolutely brand new about it.
Yeah.
But again, I just don't really think they realised the position I was in. If I was to go back again, I think I would have a better conversation with them regarding the position I was in.
Yeah. And you'd probably not see that so much nowadays.
No, you wouldn't.
The trigger point that actually possibly set all that off for you was the behaviours of that manager at the time and how he dealt with it. I think we're a long way from that nowadays, aren't we?
Moved on.
In most sectors anyway, I would imagine.
It wouldn't happen now. Really wouldn't.
Yeah. So you've just been told that's it, you're not going back to that job.
So
you've kind of just touched on there that you're in a bit of a
a bit of a rut,
a bit of a bad way with your mental health at the time. So where did you go from there? What was your next decision?
So basically, job jumping, shall we say? So at that time, I was doing bar work. Believe it or not, I was washing dishes. That was, and no disrespect to anybody that washes dishes for them, but at that age now, I'm going in 1920. I'm standing in I'll never forget it, Hamilton races. I'm standing in there washing dishes.
Yeah.
For pennies, and I mean pennies. And you're like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I ended up jumping between I tried to do sales company stuff. It wasn't for me. Absolutely was not for me. And then the opportunity came up to go back to Asda supermarket. Again, was meant to just be a wee stopgap. Ended up back in there for 3.5 years. Yeah. And I absolutely loved it this time. Like, absolutely loved it.
Back at the same shop as well where your mum works?
I felt so comfortable. Everybody knew me. I knew them. It was just it was a comfortable environment, should I say. That's the word. Yeah. It was a comfortable environment. But in saying that now, I'd had that experience. I was learning without realising I was learning now.
Yeah.
Do you know how customer interaction, senior interaction, there's so much to it than somebody would say stocking shelves and stuff like that. And as I say, it was my best, but you start to, I got comfortable in myself, I got comfortable in the position I was in. But you can see, how I say it, like a stepping stone. This is when I started to see things could be going places, even with this company, with Asda. But then something happens and you just think, is this what I want to do? Is this what I want to do? And then it came round that the company we work for now, I seen a position and I applied for it. But then going back to this imposter syndrome, you apply for it and you go, the thoughts start going through your head. Why did they want to employ me? Why would they want me? That was a big one. Why would they want to employ a supermarket worker? I've no experience in this.
How
Do you know what I mean?
how did you get yourself through them thoughts, and or do you still have those thoughts today?
I still
Because
have these.
imposter syndrome's it's quite a common thing,
Nick,
isn't it?
you don't realise how common it is.
Yeah,
And I've probably only over the last few years, the more it's kind of spoke about, done a wee bit of research in it myself. I would say majority of people get it at some stage in their career,
yeah,
but I always seem to get it when things are going right.
yeah,
It's never things are going wrong or anything. It's when things are going right. When you seem you're doing a good job, these stupid voices in your head come. I don't mean.
yeah,
And I say mental health, it's more, when I say voice, it's the thoughts that go through your head.
yeah,
Why did I deserve this? Why would they employ me? Why would they choose me over him?
yeah,
All that kind of stuff. I've even had conversations with a gaffer over the last year. The role we're doing now, I met you down in London over a year ago now. We came back from London, it was all good. You go out, start doing your thing, and you think, why? Why am I doing this right? Is it right? And again, it kind of goes back to the sport when I used to play football as well. I was that player that needed an arm around their shoulder. I could have played a blinder at a game, but I still needed that arm around the shoulder to say, you done well there, son.
I think it's a bit of a lack of belief in yourself, isn't
Yeah.
it? In a certain
I think you're
way,
totally spot on.
yeah,
Totally spot on. And it's sat with me all until now, in fact. On goes all the time. Always self-doubting. You still, even when you do something right in work, if somebody goes, that was a great job, you've done a really good thing, then you go, yeah, okay. I don't take that in. I don't take the praise in. If somebody turns around and goes, James, that wasn't very good, that was actually quite shite. That sticks you. That's in.
I think that's a good thing if you're going to act on it.
Yeah.
If you're taking that criticism or constructive criticism and then you're acting on it, I think that's a good thing. But if you're taking it in and storing it,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could do something about it.
Yeah.
100%, Nick. 100%. Yeah. But what I mean is the praise doesn't stick in.
Yeah.
The praise just goes over the head.
Yeah, I think that is an hard thing for a lot of people, isn't it? To understand why are they getting praise? Why me?
Yep.
You know. So when you started with the company you work for now, that was how many years ago?
That was 14 years ago.
14 years.
14 years. And I've loved...
Well, you must be doing something right then.
That's it. I've loved every minute on it.
Yeah.
We get people that say, oh, it's this. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love it. Especially so much, I would say even... When I joined this, I came into a team that were very experienced. Had been here for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So it probably took me I would say about 4 or 5 years to find my feet. And though I was coming in, was I 14, early 20s, I was still a young boy mentally, probably.
Yeah.
And it's not, you learn off them, you find your feet, get up to speed with them. It's not done overnight. And we probably see as well, when people come into our company now, the first question is asked, when am I going to be as fast as them? When am I going to get up to this? It doesn't happen overnight. It really doesn't.
But it's drilled into them, I think, at the beginning as well, because I know when I started, you are given a probationary period.
That's right.
And the expectation is to get to a certain level. So if you've got a competitive mindset as well, you want to try and go above and beyond that level as well at the same time. And like you say, it does take time to find your feet.
Does.
It's not overnight.
Definitely does.
And that can sometimes be a bit of an hindrance to you.
I think so as well. As you say, they try and push yourself so much that it actually takes them back the way. Yeah. No, it comes in, everybody's different. Everybody's individual. And I really do. It'll come in their own time. It'll come.
Yeah. So, just touching on what you're doing now.
Yes.
It's a secondment role, and you're out in the field and you're coaching other engineers and you're showing how people to get on. And do well, if you like, in the role that they're doing now. What made you think that this was the right time for you to take that step, having been at this company for 14 years, doing the same job? Why did you think now's the time?
I'll tell you where it started was probably during COVID.
Yeah.
See, during COVID, I say two young kids, 7 and 5, and you're not. I know it's a horrendous time for everybody, but some days you're sitting in the house, you're peering through windows trying to do stuff for customers, and you just think, what am I going to do? What am I going to do going forward? And we're not young pups anymore. 10 years time, they were still doing the exact same thing. That would be a worst case scenario probably.
Mm.
And I've thought, do you know, I love working with who I'm working with at the moment, but let's try and build the brand and make some progress. And this opportunity came up. I thought it's absolutely ideal, Especially at that time, there was new roles coming in, different projects on the go, starting up. I thought, the way I like to coach is, again, as a touch, be yourself. Don't try to be the, don't manage them. Somebody has to want your help or want your advice. I'm going to push it. I still take my personality out in the field. I probably should be a bit stricter, but I don't feel as if I get the message across if I become stricter. I need to be who I am to get my message across.
Yeah, you need to be relatable.
Yeah, 100%, Nick. 100%. I've seen it.
Not robotic.
I've seen myself. You get people that are robotic or get out. Let's Sergeant Heedable. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't sit right with others either.
Yeah. So, what does an average working day look like for you then, James?
Average working day. So, in terms of helping, see.
In terms of everything, let's go from the moment you open your eyes. Let's bring a bit of your personal life into this. So, you get up in the morning. What's the first thing you've got to do?
I was going to say wake the kids. Wake the kid. The other one's already been up since about probably 5 o'clock.
See, I know how that feels, mate.
Yeah, he's already been up. So yeah, it's getting the boys sorted for school. Probably a bit guilty of not helping as much as I should because I've already got the iPad open, making sure who's in, where I'm going for the day, that kind of stuff. You know what it's like, Nick. You probably should do a bit more in the morning. In the house, but no.
Hiding behind the iPad.
Exactly. Just looking at a blank screen. Kidding or not. So you try to get the kids and the family up ready to go, as well as try to plan your day. Which it's a lot easier said than done, shall we say? A lot easier said than done. But I'm sure it's the same in the majority of houses. You don't see it and you don't hear about it, don't you? Know?
No.
Again, it goes back to, you always think, why is it this house? Don't you? You always think, why is my house chaotic? Yeah. You always think it's just your own.
You've got a screaming kid and it's the only screaming kid in the
Exactly.
Why have I got it?
Exactly. Why me? Yeah. Why me again?
The kid draws on wall. What's wrong with my child?
Yep. Aye.
Why my child?
Why is she the only kid that's ever drowned in the
well? Every in street.
Yep. But you do. That's the way. That's the way you think. That's just the way we're all built, but it's generally what we think. If the kids do something wrong or something happens in the house, you think, why?
Yeah.
Why this? But there you go. Yeah, so we get that sorted and then we're out on the road. And then meeting up with whoever we're going to mentor for that day.
Do you find it hard sometimes if you've had a busy morning or maybe a busy night, if you've got young kids, and then how do you switch from Daddy James to Coach James?
Because they're probably similar. Do you know? They're probably very similar. Honestly, personality, I laugh and a joke. But I think it goes back to the working mentality that I have. As soon as I'm in the van started and I'm on the road, I'm back into work mode.
Yeah.
Again, it's probably very selfish in the family. But I do. I switch off and I'm into work mode.
Is that something that you've managed to train your own mind to do, or do you have certain triggers like people will stick the radio on, or just to switch off from home and switch on to work?
Do you know what it is? I honestly think it takes me away from the things that might be going on in the house, or things with the kids, wife, whatever's going on in the house. As soon as I go out, I feel as if I can switch off. I think that's my coping mechanism. Yeah. That I say the van is my coping mechanism. It's the blinkers are on. It's all work now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that's exactly what it is.
And obviously, you have a partner.
Mm-hmm.
Is she at work, or?
She is. She works for the NHS. Again.
And how does that fit into your lifestyle then? With both parents working, and
it can be hard going. And again,
yeah.
I keep using the word selfish, but it is selfish because probably her career has been affected by the work I do and the hours I do. And I say that because she's talented at what she does. She's she's a brainy woman. But I know we're talking this is about careers and stuff. I think she's got so much potential more, and she knows it herself. And I think it to an extent probably frustrates her a wee bit. But it's always the wife that's having to do the school runs, unless I've got a day off kind of thing. But it's always the wife that's doing the school runs. It's always the wife that's doing the doctors, the hospital runs, chemists. That's the shit.
And do you feel like that you could probably help a little bit more doing that, or do you feel trapped in a way that you can't? Or
I'll be totally honest. You've probably hit the nail on the coffin now. Trapped in my own ways. Trapped in my own ways.
That's another thing I was going to say. Do you think it's just in your way of looking at things? Because I think who we work for now, there is the options, and there's always the ability to do the things that the wife maybe does. And
when we started all that time ago, there was no weekend rotas, there was no like kind of childcare stuff and all that. Yeah. It's all there now, all in place. That first time in 14 years, I'm on a Monday to Friday rota now. I mean, that was unheard of when I started. It's good that I get to spend a lot more time with the family at the weekends and stuff. Now the two boys at school, but when it's a working day, I don't. It's just the way I'm built. I'm in work mode.
Yeah.
As soon as that iPad's on, it's work mode.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's one that triggers for me is the iPad, and it sounds crazy, but I have had to force myself recently to turn it off and put it in a drawer.
Days off.
If it's there, I would leave it on side and lie to myself that I'm not going to look at it. But I know it's on side, so every time I go in the kitchen,
you're going to have a quick look at it.
And I'm day off. You know what I mean? I'm day off, or it's a weekend. It's only recently that I've started just stick it in drawer, turn it off.
I thought, see my big finger? As soon as it she said you walk past the iPad, that middle pointy finger gets drawn to that iPad. You are swiping, honestly. My middle finger should go to iPad Anonymous. It will you can't walk by it without it getting attracted to it.
Yeah,
you know what it's like.
So we had a little talk before I pressed record, and we were saying about reflecting back on careers and stuff. And you're probably only here today because of the decisions you've made in your past. So when you have reflected in the past and look back at what you've done, do you feel like you learnt a lot? Do you feel like you did the things you did for a reason now?
Yep.
Because it has been quite squiggly, so to speak. You've gone football, Asda, apprenticeship, back to Asda, now doing what you do now.
100%. Wasn't until I spoke to you the other week, Nick, and you start thinking back and doing a bit of reflecting on your career and stuff, and you realise that what you've learned throughout that without realising what you've learned, if that makes sense.
life lessons, isn't it?
Yep, you just got on with it. But
Transferable skills. And
yep, what you don't realise is, but you're actually intaking all that and processing it. And hopefully I've made decisions because of that, or better decisions for what I've went through in the past with work. As I say, I'm touching back to the first point in my tale with that manager. What I've probably learned from that is, don't be that person. Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Because
at
it
the time,
will land.
It's probably killed you, didn't it?
At the time,
probably.
That was it. That was the start. The start of the beginning. Yep.
Time goes on, it heals, and you look at it with a different perspective, don't you?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. So, looking back then, finally, if you could, would you change any of those decisions that you made? Or, as you spoke about, some of those decisions were made for you around your football and stuff. Do you wish it would have gone a different way?
I try not to dwell on the past. I just wish I was more confident. On the face, I probably come across as a confident type of guy. But I just wish I had more confidence at the beginning of my career. At the very beginning, I wish I had the confidence and the ability to have the grown-up conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there were many that would have had the conversation with the immaturity and the age you are against these big, well, they seem big nasty guys, don't they, to you at the time when you're sitting looking up to them. But I just wish, if there's one thing I would love to sit down and have a grown-up conversation with them now.
Brilliant. So, just before we move on to quick-fire questions, mate, which I know you're excited about.
Buzzing. Absolutely buzzing.
Tell us something that not many people know about you.
I am a type 1 diabetic, and I have been since 10 years old, which includes having to inject up to 4 times a day with insulin.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing from that age, you're pretty used to it now, are you?
Yeah. Very used to it. So, again, maybe we should have brought this up earlier, but once I've started my career and stuff, I'm having to deal with all my insulin, my medicines, all the hormones to it, the mood swings to guard my blood sugar levels. So I'm dealing with all this at the same time.
Yeah. And as a treatment, I mean, I know nothing about it, so are the treatments, have they improved over time? Or
no, very much the same.
Has it become a lot more easy to manage over time? Or?
No, it's been probably about the same, to be fair. It's just injecting insulin 4 times a day and keeping a good close eye on your blood sugars. There's been changes to how to monitor your blood sugar levels. You can administering insulin as well. You can have pumps implanted into you and stuff like that, but I keep it old school. Again, I think it was during this early career, I was talking about my mother and stuff like that. My mother micromanaged my diabetes up to I was probably about 17 until late teenage years. I mean, counting how many chips were on your plate, how many peas were on your plate, to that extent.
Wow.
But it's not done me any harm.
Yeah.
Not done me any harm.
That's something I didn't know about you anyway, so that's...
Yeah, especially with where we work, and I'm working at heights and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so I've had to make a lot of adjustments and speaking to doctors, and that's another thing as well. See careers, see people that read a book and think they're a professional. Does man nothing. Looking for guys for life expectancies or experience with symptoms or experience with certain jobs. They know more than somebody that's read a book.
Yeah.
So that's another big bugbear with me, especially with doctors. But we'll leave it there for that one.
Well, most doctors use Google now.
Yeah, exactly.
A few weeks ago.
Exactly.
It should put me things into Google.
I know.
I could have done that myself, love.
Honestly. What is it? 14 years at uni to tell you there's a bug going about.
Yeah.
Honestly, God. I want to know what page number that's in the book. There's a bug going about.
And how many years do you have to do at university to become a receptionist now?
Oh my God.
Because they're want to know everything.
They're more qualified than the doctors now, they're not.
Right, we're going to move on. Quick fire questions, James. Yeah?
Go for it.
Quick fire questions. 5 questions. The instructions are in the title, mate. Quick fire. So, question number 1. If you had to be a Disney character, who would it be?
The genie.
The genie?
Yeah.
So you like to grant people wishes and not have wishes yourself?
Yeah.
That's very selfless of you. Nice. Question 2. What is the most interesting thing within arm's reach of you now? I'll let you stand up if you need to.
Caterpillars.
Real caterpillars?
Real caterpillars, I kid you not. 5 caterpillars in a wee tub, getting ready to build their cocoons. It's the kids.
And what's the reason for that? Is it for kids?
Yeah, growing butterflies, so they're caterpillars just now, ready to build their cocoons.
Oh, wow. More time or more money?
More money.
Why?
Because I could do things with the kids that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
Yeah. Question 4. Go forward in time or go back in time?
Go back in time.
Based on your life?
Go back in time.
And why would you go back in time? Just punch that manager in the face.
Yeah. Because it kind of goes back to the football thing, you have another go at it. Go at a different direction.
Yeah. Finally, question 5. What have you been caught red-handed doing before? Now, remember, I'm trying to keep
I was going to say, is this
a wide
PG?
audience
Is this
here,
PG? Is this PG? I think we'll leave it there with that one. If it's no PG, then I'll leave it there.
Stealing? Have you been caught stealing when you were a kid?
Never caught stealing. Oh!
No.
I've caught stealing, yes I have. My mum sent me to the ice... I know it's quick fire, but this is a good story.
No, yeah, go for it.
Sent me to the ice cream van for 2 10-pence mix-ups from me and my sister's play piece. She said, don't eat any of the sweets. I'm checking them. Went to the van, came back. I probably ate 2 of the sweeties or something coming back for the van. My mum went in and counted every sweetie in the packet. And she asked me, did you eat 2 of these sweeties? I said, no, I never. No, I never. And it were on. My mum was furious. She kidded on she'd phoned the police. Went on the phone and phoned the police. You need to go to the ice cream van. They've only gave my kid 8 sweeties and he asked for 10-pence mix up. I absolutely kicked myself. Absolutely.
Mr. Whippy's done.
Yep.
Done a
my mum was going to get because of 2
you.
pence. Yep. Ended up also I had to admit it and I get grounded for eating 2 sweeties.
That's brilliant. Good story, mate.
Yeah.
Well, nice way to end it, mate.
No problem.
Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Nick.
And good luck with everything.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks a lot, James.
Take care.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit that follow button and join me next time for more chats on Nick Needs to Know.